Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee are launching an investigation into the ouster of a federal prosecutor 1 day after his replacement signed an indictment of former FBI Director James Comey. Prosecutors have raised concerns that Eric Siebert was forced to resign as U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia over his failure to bring a case against Comey and another Trump adversary, New York Attorney General Letitia James. Joining me now is a Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee, New York Congressman Dan Goldman. Congressman, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Tell me about this investigation that you on the Judiciary Committee are now waging. What are you hoping to find here?
Well, we're looking to see what the motivation was for Donald Trump to fire Eric Siebert, as he said he did. And whether it is as political as it seems. And there's enough evidence from Donald Trump's own mouth that he fired him or forced him to resign, whichever you want to call it, because he refused to bring criminal charges that were not supported by the evidence in violation of the oath of office that every U.S. attorney takes. And we want to understand what the motivation was for that. And we also want to understand and follow forward to the hiring of Donald Trump's former personal attorney, an insurance lawyer who has no experience prosecuting, the day before James Comey was indicted at the direction and encouragement of Donald Trump. So there's a lot of really ugly facts that are here that demonstrate that Donald Trump is using the Department of Justice as his own personal revenge and retribution arm to get back at his political enemies, which, of course, is the stuff of banana republics, not democracies.
And Congressman, as you know, Democrats are in the minority. You are limited in terms of your subpoena power here. So what exactly can you do to extract this information? And what are you kind of up against with that in mind?
We don't have subpoena power. It's not that we're limited. We do not have any subpoena power unless the Republicans agree. So there are two ways this can happen. Either the Department of Justice cooperates with a co-equal branch of government, which is a request of all of the Democrats on this Judiciary Committee, or the Republicans recognize what an affront this is to our rule of law and democracy and take on the lawlessness and the unconstitutional anti-democratic behavior that Donald Trump is exhibiting in increasing escalation, now culminating with what I think is the final nail in the coffin for the Department of Justice as we ever knew it with this indictment of Jim Comey.
And Congressman, what do you say to those who argue that under the previous administration, the Department of Justice was weaponized against the former president? And with these cases, separate from the DOJ in New York, for example, against the former president as well, what do you say to that argument? And do you think that Democrats in the past have exercised any similar overreach here?
I think it is a blatant false equivalency when you look at the Department of Justice. The fact that Donald Trump says that it was biased or it was a desire to get back at him politically does not mean there's actually any evidence to support that. The special counsel, who was not only insulated from the President of the United States, but from the Attorney General, went to the court, got an indictment, got search warrants, laid out in great detail all of the facts. There is no evidence that this in any way, shape, or form was done out of a political animus, either of those cases, the classified documents case or the January 6th case. And so there's just no there to these accusations. And certainly there's not even an accusation that Joe Biden did anything. And Joe Biden didn't even intervene to stop his own son from being indicted by his Justice Department. On the flip side, Donald Trump has signed executive orders directing the Attorney General to investigate his enemies. He has now indicted one of his political enemies, even over the most unusual and rare occurrence where a grand jury does not return an indictment on one of the counts, which almost never happens. The saying goes, you can indict a ham sandwich. Well, one of the counts that they brought to the grand jury, I guess, wasn't even good enough to be a ham sandwich. And so this is so obviously and nakedly, brazenly political that this false equivalency has no support from the facts and the evidence, but also doesn't justify what he is doing now. And he's betrayed all of his promises that he wouldn't weaponize or politicize the Department of Justice. And in fact, that is exactly what he is doing.
And Congressman, I do want to switch gears just quickly because there is a really critical race in your home city of New York for mayor. You have not endorsed the Democratic candidate in the race, Zoran Mandami. I'm wondering, why not? Do you plan to endorse him?
Well, I've had a very good conversation with Mr. Mamdani, and I expect to speak with him more. We share many of the same principles, same goals, same objectives of addressing our housing crisis, addressing affordability. We work together, in fact, on a pilot program to give free bus fares on special routes. But I have explained to him directly that there are many Jewish New Yorkers who are scared right now, and justifiably so, because 70% of hate crimes, religious hate crimes, are anti-Semitic, and it's gone from protests and slurs to actual violence and murders. And so there are legitimate fears, and I've spoken to him about wanting to see some concrete steps to show Jewish New Yorkers, as well as every New Yorker, that he will make sure that everyone is kept safe and secure under his mayoralty if he is elected. And so I hope that we can continue to talk, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's a really important point, and hope that that message is received. Congressman Goldman, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.